Welcome to another episode for Vismaya 2026. I am your host, Hemang Gandhi, a first year student pursuing BSc in Economics, Mathematics, and Statistics. Today, we are joined by Dr Meenakshi Dsouza, Professor and Head of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIIT Bangalore, with a PhD from the Institute of Mathematical Sciences, Chennai, and a background spanning Honeywell research and academia. Her expertise lies in formal verification, software testing, and embedded systems. Beyond educating tens and thousands of students nationwide, she is a strong advocate for gender diversity and accessibility in IT. Professor Meenakshi, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here, to be physically present in Christ University and to be a part of this Vismaya edition. Thank you so much.
You have had a fascinating journey, ma'am. A master's in mathematics, a PhD in theoretical science, computer science from IMSC, then industry research at Honeywell, before moving into academia at IIIT Bangalore. Could you walk us through that journey and what drew you from pure theory into applied embedded software research?
Yeah, thanks for the nice initiating question. Literally takes me back 23 years to the past. That's how long I've been working now. So when I did my MSc Maths, I studied in an autonomous institution, a college that had the freedom to phrase its own syllabus, was not bound by a university exam. So we had the option to take subjects, a few electives of our choice. So I did take a few electives in theoretical computer science. Two reasons. One is maths, pure maths, I realized was not my cup of tea. I was better off doing slightly applied maths, and we had wonderful teachers who taught us some subjects in theoretical computer science, specifically graph theory, automata theory, and programming courses. So naturally I was attracted to that, and in MSc I decided that that's where maybe I belong to, not pure mathematics. It's precisely those teachers who gave me a print advertisement of a poster that said, here are applications open for a PhD. So one of the faculty said, why don't you apply, you try, you'll be good at it. So I sort of blindly had faith. I applied, I joined for a PhD in theoretical computer science. Quite thankful for that, for my advisors, for my teachers, because it transformed what I did. It took me 5 years to complete a PhD in theoretical computer science. And this, including the 5.5 years of PhD, was totally little more than 10 years in academia after school. So I wanted to get out of academia. I wanted to be in the industry, to work, to see what life is there all about. And more importantly, I was a student, and then I was living on a stipend. I just wanted some more income for myself. So that I shifted to academia in that process, and to industry in that process. And also personally, I was married, and my husband had a career in Bangalore. So I wanted to be in the city, and the city was welcoming the industry at that time. So that was the big shift that happened. And because I knew mathematics and programming, it was not difficult to embrace computer science.
That's an inspiring journey, ma'am. This year's theme is alchemy, ancient science that transformed the unknown into discovery. Formal methods essentially do something similar for software. They take something inherently uncertain and transform it into mathematically provable correctness. How would you explain this alchemy of formal verification to someone outside computer science?
Yeah, so as you have rightly articulated, formal means mathematical. That's the analogy of the word. So anything that deals with a software or a system or an application and tries to mathematically model it and then check whether it meets its requirements, that is, verify whether it meets its requirements, is all that is formal verification about. The popular other side is software testing, which every practitioner does. Every program always needs a set of test cases to execute. Broadly, formal verification and software testing come under the purview of verification. Software testing is good at finding errors. Formal verification is good at proving mathematically, finding mathematical guarantees about requirements being met. So, it is in this sense that they complement each other. One cannot replace the other, both are needed, but if you are inclined towards a mathematical guarantee, pursue formal verification. If one is inclined to finding errors, pursue software testing.
That's very interesting, ma'am. Your work spans across software testing, model-based development, and design and architecture of embedded software. If we think of embedded systems as the hidden machinery behind so much of modern life, from aviation to industrial control, what discoveries in your research have most changed how you personally think about reliability and trust in technology?
Yeah, thanks for the nice question. Embedded applications have evolved a lot over these 2-3 decades. Earlier, the only embedded applications were ruggedized machines, electronic voting machines and computers that were used in nuclear plants and hydroelectric plants and stuff like that. From then on, now we have embedded systems, including the phones that we carry, still the old ruggedized ones that fly our planes, that run our trains, run our nuclear power plants, and most importantly, now you have tiny chips, Internet of Things that connect everywhere. So, reliability and trust for these systems that have the ability to communicate with another entity to Bluetooth or through anything else, Ethernet or NFC or something like that, becomes very challenging. I have been fortunate to work on a lot of Government of India projects, Ministry of Defence, through my research scholars and sponsored projects. And over these years, it is fascinating to see government embrace these technologies into their modern devices. Even our BMTC bus conductors now carry what we call an edge device. It is capable of issuing a ticket, tallying the account, taking in a payment through QR code. So, technology has come a long way, and I believe that a lot of my work, especially for the government, especially Ministry of Defence, has helped to build some amount of reliability and trust in the kind of technology embracement that is happening within the government.
Your perspective is certainly very interesting, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your NPTEL course on software testing has reached over 92,000 learners since 2017. In a sense, you have transformed testing from a niche, often overlooked skill into something widely taught and valued. What shifts have you seen in how testing is perceived in the industry and in academia over that time?
Yeah, so in academia, software testing has always been taught as a part of a classical course on software engineering, which computer science students do. They say, hey, testing comes at the end of the life cycle. But what I realized through my work in Honeywell, which was a product company, and then later by I worked for Karnataka Urban Water Supply Sewage Board, I worked for Karnataka Knowledge Commission, and all of these were on testing projects, and it's beyond just what you learn in a classical software engineering course. So, through these kinds of work, it helped me to design my own course in software testing, focusing a lot on test case design, algorithmic aspects, and it was immensely popular in my institute. And we sort of changed that to an NPTEL course, and this course still focuses on understanding a lot of algorithmic aspects of testing, not how to use a tool for testing, which is what a software engineering course would tell you. But if you ask me what has changed, that course is quite old. It is about 9 years old now, into the 9th year. If you tell me what has changed now, the answer would be AI. They say AI can generate unit test cases. So, we are still trying to figure out if AI can do that, and if it can do that, at what cost. There are these tokens, there is token economy and stuff like that. So, maybe we will have to see how testing will evolve with the amount of AI, but as far as the other algorithmic aspects are concerned, I think we are still holding good.
I am sure our viewers would definitely be interested in joining your NPTEL course soon.
Yeah, I have to change the syllabus if AI takes over. Let's see.
For students who are just beginning to explore computer science, much like the ancient alchemists exploring the unknown, what would you say is the most important mindset or habit to develop early on, especially if they are drawn to research?
Yeah, especially for those who are in computer science and are thinking of having a research career as an option. My first piece of advice would be not specific to computer science. It would be to have an open mind that is willing to learn, willing to explore, willing to do research, not go with quick shortcuts by asking AI for solving this assignment. Try to do it yourself, attend classes, do learn a lot. Specifically for computer science, from what it was 5 years, 6 years ago, post the advent of chat GPTs in 2002, it's one of the risky fields. They say AI can do a lot of it, but I still feel that if you ask the practical aspects of it, AI still cannot do a lot of it. So, there is still a lot of work to be done by humans and a lot of work to verify what AI is churning out also, right. So, I think openness to learning and openness to problem solving by thinking on your own, and openness to embracing the depth of areas within computer science, not just knowing the next latest programming language or not just knowing Python libraries, right. It helps to get into the depths of a particular area in computer science, and that will definitely help.
I am sure our viewers will definitely work on your advice. You have been a strong advocate for gender diversity and accessibility in technology. What message would you like to share with young students, especially women and underrepresented groups who are considering a future in computer science or research?
Yeah, I mean, the whole basis for my thought process is, coming to accessibility, whole basis for my thought process is take a student who is specially abled, let us say visually impaired or maybe wheelchair bound. If that person cannot be a programmer, who else can be a programmer, right? It is clear that a visually impaired person cannot go and work in a workshop, cannot do lathe, cannot screw machines and stuff like that, but that person should be able to program, should be able to think mathematically, should be able to think scientifically. So, I think it's up to computer science amongst all the sciences that is not dependent on any kind of physical laboratory to be able to embrace differently abled students and learners, to be able to provide them with the best of technology that is possible. When it comes to women, it is more I would say that I do not think it should matter, that's how we should view ourselves as. I do not think the clause should be there that I am a woman, is because of that am I less of a programmer, am I more of a programmer, it does not matter. I am a woman, I am as capable of learning as anybody else, and my biggest advice would be not to take career breaks citing this and that. For women it sort of spoils them, and is to just carry on like men do. There is equal pressure on women to be able to be breadwinners, to be able to support their parents, family, extended family. So, women have to be stronger, and I am sure everything will be fine.
We love your perspective, ma'am. This brings us to the end of today's episode for Vismaya 2026. It is my privilege to extend our gratitude to Dr. Meenakshi for taking the time to share her incredible journey, technical insights, and a vision for a more inclusive future in tech. I'm Hemang Gandhi. Thank you for tuning in. Over and out.